Hello there, people of YouTube, and welcome to the Spikehead podcast for a little ranking list today. Now, we know that unfortunately Spider-Man is going through a bit of a crossover period at the moment, with Sony apparently being to RC with Marvel or something along those lines. I don't know, I'm not picking sides, but chances are we're not seeing the Tom Holland Spider-Man again. And as I was going to record this video later in the week anyway, I figure now is the time to do it. I'm going to be ranking all the theatrical releases of Spider-Man. That is right, all 8 of them. And before we get into this list, guys, I just want to say, if you do like what I do on this channel, then please feel free to hit that subscribe button and drop a like, because that would really help the channel a lot. But without further ado, guys, let's get right into the list. So, coming in at number 8, we have The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now, I don't think this is a garbage movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it does suffer a lot by cramming in so many storylines. It tries really hard to build a wider universe. It's not like a standalone Spider-Man film. Sony tried to copy the Marvel process, and as a result, we had a side plot with the Sinister Six. We had the Peter's parents side plot. We had the Electro main plot, who ends up just being a secondary villain in the end because Green Goblin flies in at the end, and that plot point was rushed. It was just a lot of rushed things crammed into one movie to try and develop a wider universe, and unfortunately they failed miserably and actually killed off the Amazing Spider-Man franchise. Coming in at 7 is The Amazing Spider-Man. Now, this one was at least standalone, and we do have the Lizard on screen for the first time, and it does have that amazing Stan Lee cameo scene in the library. But one thing I didn't like about this film is the fact that it just isn't that memorable. The only thing I can name off the top of my head is that Stan Lee cameo bit. That is all I can remember from that film, and honestly, even some of the worst Spider-Man films, I at least remember more and get a little bit more of ironic enjoyment out of it. Amazing Spider-Man isn't something I want to go and rewatch again and again and again. It's just not something I find too memorable. And unfortunately, in terms of my ranking list, because I'm ranking this based on enjoyability, my memorability, and how much I think it is good as a film, this unfortunately does have to come in at number 7. Sorry, Andrew Garfield, you're propping up my list here. Coming in at number 6, we have the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 3. Yes, of course, we're going to get to that one eventually. The film that is known for all its memeability of emo Peter Parker with his little... Let's not do that ever again, but yeah, this film, I feel like the only real saving grace it has in this film is the Sandman side plot. The Sandman is a really good villain in this, and I feel like this film would have been much more well received without emo Peter Parker and without shoehorning Venom in the end, because Sam Raimi didn't want Venom. You could tell he didn't want Venom. Sony made him have Venom, and as a result we got that train wreck. But the Sandman storyline done absolutely perfectly. Coming in at number 5, I am having to say it's Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, it was a toss-up between the two Marvel Spider-Man films, but I would say Far From Home, while I like Mysterio, I just feel like Peter's a bit too much of an idiot in this film, considering that we've already seen Homecoming. He's already matured a bit, he's already gone to space and seen his mentor die. It just doesn't really feel like he is being very intelligent at all. Yes, he is still a kid, he wants to do kid things, but he's a lot of dumb stuff in this movie and he's still immature. And how much longer can Marvel ride? Well, I say that with the whole thing going off, but assuming that Marvel still have the rights, how much longer can they have Spider-Man be an absolute idiot? And I didn't like what they did with Mary Jane. Well, I didn't like what they did with MJ in this as well. I feel like when she is being all sensitive and cute around Peter, I feel like that wasn't really within her character. It's like, hey, you've been acting all tough and sarcastic this whole way through, but every time you hint that you like Peter, you gotta giggle like a schoolgirl and just go complete 180 on the character, which unfortunately I didn't really enjoy. Mysterio's a good villain. It's a very good villain, but at the same time, you don't really buy into the concept that he's a real threat to Spider-Man, especially where it established that he's just a guy. And they have to take away Spider-Man's webs just to make it more of an even fight, because all Spider-Man's got to do is web all these drones together, smash them together, take Mysterio out. So, aside from the twist at the end, I feel like this film isn't as good as everyone says it is. A lot of people say it surpassed Spider-Man 2. Me personally, I don't think it even reaches that level. Now, coming out at number 4, it's Spider-Man Homecoming. Yes, that film. Now, We hadn't seen a good Spider-Man movie in quite some time by this point, and with Michael Keaton as the Falcon absolutely smashing it, this was a very enjoyable Spider-Man film. It was nice to see a Spider-Man film without the great power, great responsibility line. As iconic as that is, it's been done to death. They skate past that bit, and they just have him learning to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and just with how grounded it is to home as well. It's not like a worldwide threat, it's just stopping a bandit with a mech suit. That's all they do in this film, and I feel like it did work very, very well. And I bought the relationship between him and Michael Keaton's daughter in this film than I did him and MJ in the second film, so that's always a plus for me as well. But yeah, the two Marvel films, they come at 4 and 5 in my list. Now coming into the top 3 now. Number 3, you guys are going to be very shocked by this, but it is Spider-Man 2. Yes, the one that everyone says is the best live action Spider-Man, and honestly the only reason it falls in this spot is I don't hold it as fondly in my nostalgia glands as I do the other two films. I feel like this film, it's very good. It has that iconic train scene. Doc Ock is a brilliant villain, and I did like they took away his powers. There was a lot of development with Peter within this story, trying to balance his superhero life versus his personal life. I thought it was really well done, and I hate having to put it in third spot because I feel like it deserves so much better, and I know why everyone says this is the best Spider-Man movie. But for me personally, it is a bit lower on my list compared to the other two. The other two weren't so great in my eyes. This would definitely be number 1. But number 2 is Spider-Man 1. The OG origin story of Spider-Man. I'm sorry, this film I just can watch a million times and never get bored of it. Willem Dafoe, who is a crime that we're never going to see him as the Joker. He is a fantastic Green Goblin. He is absolutely brilliant as a villain. He's a campy villain, but back then campiness was the big thing in superhero movies, and I did love the origin story with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. It's just a very enjoyable film, and I just love all the elements to it. Yeah, cheese aside, it's just a lot of fun to watch this film. While objectively Spider-Man 2 is the better made film, this first one, it was the first live action Spider-Man film made. It could have bombed very badly, it could have tanked, but no, it did well. It got all the sequels pre-year 2000, where we even talk about Spider-Man outside the comic books or the series. No, they took the series, made it live action, and I thought they did a very good job with it indeed. And of course, Willem Dafoe is always a win. We love you, Willem. We love you. Here it is, boys and girls and non-binary people of the world. Number 1 is the film I didn't review. I didn't watch it until late on after hearing so many good things about it. I was like, how good could it be? Because every time someone says a film is amazing to me, it always turns out to be anticlimactic, a bit lackluster. But I ate my words, because Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is the perfect Spider-Man film. I'm actually scared for the sequel because this is just so good. The art style is insane. It takes a while to get used to, but it's a very, very good art style. It has a diverse cast without shoving it down your throats. It has Miles Morales, who I've never really cared about as a Spider-Man, and this film added like a passing of the torch between Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Miles Morales, because let's be honest, the Peter Parker that comes from that other dimension, he is basically Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. And this film had comedy, it had heart, it had a lot of sad moments, it had deep moments. The scene when his dad is talking to him through the door and he can't respond because he's all tied up and gagged, that is, that's right in the feels. And there are scenes I like to call perfect, well, I don't really have a name for them, but there are these certain scenes in cinema that I feel like are perfectly made scenes, right down to the direction, the acting, the composition, the cinematography and the soundtrack. When all these elements combine to make a perfect scene, they stick out in my memory for me, and there's no scene that specifies that better than the leap of faith scene. What do you want, dog? What do you want? I'm interrupted by a dog. Yeah, the leap of faith scene is just one of those iconic moments in cinema for me. I feel like that is just embodies the whole film. It is so good. I don't think there's a single character I don't like in this film. I love Miles, I love Peter Parker, I love seeing Spider-Gwen for the first time. Penny Parker was adorable. Spider-Noir, perfectly casted as Nicolas Cage. That was brilliant as well. This is just a complete Spider-Man movie. And it flew under a lot of people's radar, but it won the damn Academy Award, beating out Pixar. So well done, SpiderVerse. You were fantastic, and you are the best Spider-Man film. So there you have it, guys. That is my list of the Spider-Man franchise, every film ranked. I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me on this about certain entries, especially Spider-Man 2, but like I said, this is just my opinion, this is just my ranking. If you have your list, let me know what your list is down in the comments below. And again, if you like what I do on this channel, feel free to hit that round subscribe button and drop a like. It would really help the channel a lot. But until next time, guys, this is that Spikehead Podcast, signing off.